Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Collectors Community. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Just getting over the Super Bowl yesterday. It was a fun time to watch. Happy for Patrick Mahomes, third win out of the last 4 years for those guys for winning, going to the Super Bowl, and it's his third time winning now. So yeah, no, really happy about that. Can't say I'm much of a Swiftie. I'm not really excited about all that, but I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Happy for the Kansas City Chiefs. Happy for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I don't know about this Travis Kelsey guy. He seems like a bit of a goofball.
Did you see his speech at the end?
Now, what was he screaming that Las Vegas thing?
Las Vegas.
He's been watching too much wrestling or something, trying to get the crowd going. I don't know what he was up to.
They like cut to like Taylor Swift, and she's just like, it's like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So listen, I can appreciate all the people enjoying it for those aspects, but I've been a Mahomes fan for a while and a Chiefs fan. So yeah, I was happy to see another win there. They pulled it out. They went to overtime. Wasn't sure they were going to pull it off, but yeah, no, it was a good game. It was actually one of the better Super Bowls. It was very tight the whole way through that I've seen in a while. So yeah, but you're not here for us to hear about our sports opinions. Just thought I'd throw that out there, keep it topical. But yeah, we're here to talk about comics, everybody. So welcome back. Comic Shop Talk, episode 114 here. Just chugging along here. You can go back and check out any of our other episodes in our playlist here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram because we're dropping videos now every week of the issues that we pick up, me and Chris. We're playing around with some formats. I put some music on mine this week. Chris is kind of throwing off some comments, even giving you some insight into other things he's picking up that he may not talk about on the show as well. So that's really cool. Just like Chris's weekly pickups from the store. So yeah, it's good to kind of check that shit out. Definitely go and follow us there, guys. It is kind of fun to see some of the covers that we pick up and things that we might talk about on the show beforehand. So make sure to go follow us at Late Night Collectors Community on Instagram. I gotta have to step it up now. Chris put out this great video making all these comments. I was telling him like, I gotta step it up next week now, make some comments. Look at this shitty cover. What is this shit? That's what you guys come for. I know those type of comments. New comics for the week of February 7th, we're talking about today here on the show. And make sure to tune in next week. We'll be talking about our Valentine's Day comics there for you guys. February 14th, I just realized, is the next date that we'll be talking about. So there you go. And as always, spoiler warning, guys. Be forewarned. We are going to be talking about what happens in some of these books to properly review them and kind of give you our thoughts on them. We're going to be showing off some art. So yeah, you can always read your books and then come back if you're worried about being spoiled. But yeah, just be forewarned about that. Spoiler warning, guys. And yeah, go ahead, Chris. I ran out of beer here, so I had to mix up for last night. I had to mix up another drink for myself as well here today.
I don't know, hitting the sauce there. Anyways.
Yeah.
Cheers. Let's talk comics.
Talk some comics. All right. First up on the docket here today, guys, we got Batman 142. I guess the first in an issue of, it looks like a weekly event of this Joker year one that's going to be happening in the book now. Yeah. What'd you think of this, Chris?
Well, I was looking forward to the hype about this. I thought it'd be something good. And I don't know. I got into there. I don't know if I missed something, but I don't know what the heck is happening or when this is happening and who's the Joker is. I don't know what's going on in here. This one left me sort of, I don't know, just let down for sure. There was a lot of hype going into this. I was excited about this, kind of get a bit of a story into the Joker, the way it was led up to at the end of Failsafe. Failsafe wasn't even in this. You got a new artist in there. Just, I don't know, just a lot of the momentum that was building up in the last few issues just really kind of ground to a halt here. Maybe they got something bigger in there. But, just looking at this stuff here, it looks like they're trying to cash in on some, classic Joker panels or covers there with the laughing. I remember that was on a t-shirt or that was a big cover at the time.
Yeah. Killing Joke.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe I got to read it again, or maybe when it all comes out, it'll come together a bit better. But this left me wanting
No, I was glad. I'm glad to hear that because it left me wanting, and that's why I wanted your opinion on this here first, because I think this is going to be confusing for a lot of people that aren't up on their Batman like knowledge from the past, like, I don't know, even like 15, 20 years, because even for me, this was a little confusing and left me wanting, because there's a couple of things at play here. And like, so like, you can't just go pick up this book. And like, I know, Chris, it's not like you haven't been reading all of Zdarsky's run, or really the last few years of Batman, because you have. So the fact that they're really pulling from like some other eras here of Batman, like, so he's kind of tapping into the 0 year kind of storyline that Scott Snyder did on his run as part of the New 52 here, which again, if you didn't know that, you wouldn't know that, because that's like this whole Batman when you see him with the purple gloves. They talk about the Riddler just having dealt with the Riddler. So it's kind of like he did this 0 year storyline, which is after Bruce actually comes to Gotham and starts becoming Batman, kind of like in line with the Batman Year One kind of Frank Miller storyline, but I would say even before that, hence the 0 year instead of year one. So now I guess he's trying to tell the story of how, when he met, it's a retelling of when he met the Joker for the first time, I guess, around that period of time. But so that's one thing, Chris. And then there's another thing where there's a guy that shows up at the end of this issue, the guy that says that, I guess, bumps into the Joker, that says he trained Batman. Now, that guy is somebody that trained Batman, that he got introduced through the Batman. What was that story that Zdarsky did before he wrote The Night? Remember that one? The Batman The Night series, which you didn't read, which was basically the story about Batman training to become Batman that Zdarsky did.
Oh, yeah.
Before he started writing the main series. That's where that guy is from. So like, he says that he trained him, and he turned out to be the bad guy in that series that Zdarsky wrote previous to his time on Batman. So if you guys read that, you may have caught that and understood that. But again, without that context, you're just like, who's this guy now, and what's going on, and what period are we in there? And then on top of that, he's also playing around with the idea, I think started by Grant Morrison, and then Jeff Johns did this Three Jokers storyline in Fabak a few years back, that kind of played up the storyline of there being different multiple versions of the Joker as we know him, like the Killing Joke one, the gangster one. And he's kind of playing with that idea too. So he's like playing with like 3 different types of fucking like storylines that different acclaimed Batman writers have done, like, I would say over time on this, and then even kind of bringing in some of the stuff that he established on a series prior to. So like, there's a lot going on in this book, and I'm not going to say it all really gelled well together, because like you said, by the end of this issue, it kind of left me wanting to, and I'm just like, I don't know about this. Honestly, I was really hyped going into this story. I've been really enjoying Batman lately, ever since it's ended that last arc. Whether you went back in time and they kind of brought in all this other stuff with the different Batmans and the Zur-En-Arrh, and then the failsafe coming back. Chris, I know we've been talking about it, we've been enjoying it, but I don't know about this, man. There's a lot happening in this story. It's a challenge. I think it's very challenging what he's taking on here, honestly. And he's also trying to tie in the Red Hood stuff. Like, he's tying in a lot of Batman lore into the story. Like, and I don't know if it's all going to make sense at the end. I don't know what to tell you. I will say I did like the artists, both the artists that he worked on in this issue, just Giuseppe Camicoli and Andrea Sorrentino, now that have joined the book. I think they're both really good artists. And I even really like the Sorrentino. Like, I've never seen him do this style. He's doing like a painted style in here that kind of makes it look like Arkham Asylum-ish. That's what I mean. They're playing with like a lot of different types of themes, and I feel like timelines, and is it all working together? Yeah, this right here, this was fucking crazy looking. I was just like, I think he painted that. Like, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's digital, because I think he's a digital artist first, but the way it kind of even popped off the page and kind of looked like hyper realistic, I was like, whoa, this is really fucking cool. Did you like this? I kind of like this art like a lot when they had these.
Yeah.
Like
I said, the story just took me out of it. Like you say, it was like, I mean, I'm aware of a lot of the stuff that was going on, but like, I'm aware of that kind of the Red Hood and the Three Jokers business. Not so much about that night part, but yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I don't know, but like, I don't think you should have to know about all these things to enjoy the story. Even me, having recognized where he was pulling some of these ideas from, I don't think it was a great setup still. That's what I mean. It's interesting. You maybe not knowing some of that stuff, or even me mentioning it right now. I still felt the same, I think, that you did going into this. Honestly, I like certain elements of this, but I'm just like, I don't know if this is all going to work. Honestly, it's very ambitious what he's doing here. But like I said, it's a weekly thing. He's got good artists working for him. Maybe he'll stick the landing by the end, but not a great start. He's really got to like focus. Yeah, this guy here, this dude who kind of comes across the Joker, is somebody I believe that was in the Night series that he did, where he said, "Oh yeah, I trained Batman." He's one of the many people that trained him, but by the end of the series, he turned his back on him. Like, I think he was the guy that like was able to like to teach him like mental abilities of some sort, like and by the end of it, he turned out to turn his back on him and like go rogue. So like that's why I guess he's appearing right now trying to aid the Joker in this story, because him and Batman had a falling out despite him saying, yeah, I trained him, but then he turned out to be like a bad guy. Right. So again, if you didn't read that fucking story that Zdarsky did before he was on the proper Batman title, I don't know what to tell you. It's not really like he's explaining that to you here, right? He's just like, hey, I trained him. Okay. Yeah. So like as a reader, you're just like, okay, I guess I'll go along with that. This guy trained him. Right. So I don't know. There's a lot happening here. Yeah, I really like this style though that he's doing here. This is really fucking freaky looking, like Arkham Asylum kind of style here. And then the Fallout, I guess, is in the current day storyline. What he's dealing with here, is that what we're dealing with here? This
I have no idea.
I think this is current day. I think they're simultaneously telling us a story from the past, the year one, also with a current day storyline. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that zombie city takeover was in the Joker year 1 story, right? I don't know. Hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
What'd you give it?
I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I would give it the same. I like some stuff about it, but as a whole, it didn't really work all too much for me. We'll see where it goes. I think it's weekly. So
maybe too cerebral for me.
No, I don't even think it's that deep. It's just like I said, I wasn't trying to come through and like school you, Chris. Oh, actually, this is from this and this from that. No, I'm just trying to say like he's clearly pulling from like a bunch of different storylines, it seems like, in Batman's history, or even the last 15, 20 years that other writers have done. And I only know that because I've read those. But I think for anybody trying to pick this up and read this, you shouldn't have to fucking know those things to help the story out, right? Like, and I don't know if you, like you said, like I think some people will pick this up and be lost, not knowing the timeline of what this is or significance of this, or, you know what I mean? I think that's a bad choice on his part, right? I don't think it works. Birds of Prey number 6. Here. There we go. This is
I bought that. I just got this for the cover, really.
Conclusion of the first arc. Oh yeah, let's check out that cover. Nice one.
It's the sweater weather. Is that what DC had a few of?
Is that Big Barda? Who is that on the cover?
I think that's Big Barda. I don't know who it is, but she's looking good there.
Yeah, sure.
The rest of the crew in the hot tub, fill it out. A lot of cheese, a lot of cake, but not too cheese and not too much cake. So,
what do you think?
Very, very tasteful cover. But yeah, the issue itself, that's okay. You know, like I say, I might be dropping this one, and this is, you know, it's the end of the arc, and they're starting a new team or trying to get some more people back together. You know, I kind of like that. Who's that one character? Is it Sin or something that's now trapped or attached or bonded with the spirit there or something? And then she kind of cuts a deal with the spirit that, hey, you gotta let me be in charge, or we're all out. I don't know, but that was okay. Nothing to write home about. Not a great end of an arc. Like I thought the last issue would be the end of the arc. This is kind of just the epilogue or the fallout, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was just another mid issue.
I liked it. I liked the end of the arc. I'm glad that Leonardo Romero, the artist that was in the first 4 issues, and then there's that weird cover artist that did the last issue, is back on this one to conclude it. Kind of sucks he wasn't able to do all 6 issues of this arc. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but okay. But glad to see him back. Who knows if he'll be on for the next one? I haven't checked. But yeah, like you said, this creature now is a part of Sin, and they are able to bring her back. And I like the conclusion of it because, like, when it got back, they kind of already started in on like the fact that the team's going to change already in the next issue, which I thought was interesting. There's maybe new members or people leaving, and then also there's a whole Batgirl storyline, who is like an original Birds of Prey member. She shows up, and there's some
Oh yeah, was there some time traveling thing or something? Because wasn't she she was all upset that she was never brought in on the team, and then there was some storyline going through that. Every time that they brought Batgirl in there, she would die. So I
yes.
thought that was an interesting twist to the story, but they didn't really kind of put that or kind of expand on that. Let's say.
No, but they certainly teased it for the next arc, whatever the hell's going on there. Then there was that other, the other person that showed up there. I think she was like the girl that was in Gotham Academy. This one that shows up at the end, I forgot her name, but she's basically the one that's been kind of creeping around the background this whole time. Maps, yeah, that's her name. I think she's from Gotham Academy, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, this character basically said that every scenario that worked out where Batgirl, that's why she wasn't included. Yeah, she died. So, and then they even said, okay, moving forward, it looks like we're gonna have to like restructure the team and stuff. And like, I love when they kind of have people going in and out of a team, like a Justice League move or like a Suicide Squad move. So I'm kind of keen on what happens next. I thought this was a good end to the arc. I quite like the first arc. I like this book. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
What'd you give this out of 5?
I'll give it a 3.75.
I'll give it a 4. I think the first arc, even I give a 4 out of 5. I think it's, if you guys missed out on this, it might be worth checking out the trade. I think it's a good, different types of Birds of Prey book. It feels very different than other Birds of Prey series I've read, and I think that's a good thing. You got like a mix of different types of characters in it, and it's kind of like Birds of Prey and name only type of thing, but the vibe's totally different. But now you're getting classic people kind of drop in, which is cool. Like you're getting Stephanie, not Stephanie Brown. You're getting fucking Batgirl show up. What's her name? I can't remember her fucking name now.
Kane. It's not Cassandra Cain, is it?
No. Cassandra Cain's in it though. You're getting that Batgirl,
Yep.
then you're getting the other Batgirl.
Oracle or Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, I read comics. I do that. Come on. All right. Anyways, go ahead, Chris. Suicide Squad, Kill Arkham Asylum #1.
Let's see here. This came polybagged. And it wasn't too bad of a read. I think this is sort of an Elseworld. This isn't part of the canon story here. I guess Amanda Waller has taken over Arkham Asylum and has rebuilt it. And she's taking, I guess, Commissioner Gordon for a tour. Batman kind of shows up, and I guess Amanda Waller is sort of antagonistic towards Batman and Jim Gordon. She's her stance, I guess, is you've had your chance to kind of take things out. This is what we're doing now, and this is all government sponsored sort of business, and we're just showing you out of courtesy, and just don't get in our way. And it seems like they have everybody locked up in there, and that's not too bad seeing these characters here. And it sounds like a lot of characters, or everybody in Arkham Asylum there, is sort of fair game to die. There's that one Zaz guy. I think he gets his head chopped off by King Shark. I guess one of the big things is they're bringing King Shark into the Arkham Asylum to be processed, and it's fun seeing him there. Like some characters I'm familiar with. I thought the art for some of the characters, the way they have Harley Quinn drawn, I don't think that's her best portrayal, but it's still not bad. And yeah, I think I bought the first few issues of this, and I don't regret. I kind of bought it more just because it was, the prequel to the game, and there's supposed to be, little codes you can get in there. Like I say, it came polybagged, so. But it's not a bad story, and I don't know if I'm going to collect the whole thing, but I think I have the first few issues in for sure.
Nice.
You got a chance to read this or no?
No, I didn't check this out. It looked all right though. I mean, when I was putting the art together, it looked interesting. And you didn't feel like it was like a blatant promo for the video game, no,
I did not. I don't play the video game, so I don't know what's going on in the video game, but it didn't feel like that this was, you're just kind of going through the stages, basically.
Yeah, good.
I think at the end, Arkham or all the inmates are released, and it might be just a free for all of all the inmates in there or something like that, with Batman in there too. So that could be a fun ride.
Nice. All right, what'd you give that out of 5?
I give it 3.75 too.
Nice. And then Venom 30 this week. Big fucking throwdown issue by the looks of it. What the hell's going on in there?
Yeah. Once again, what the hell is going on is the question. Yeah, you got the cover there. That's the cover I got. And it is a throwdown. I don't even know which Venom is which Venom because they're all Eddie Brock. And, you rip off the mask and it's Eddie Brock in there and he's fighting himself. It's almost just like he's just having some mental breakdown in his head. And I don't know what's going on here. The two bedlams are arguing with each other. I guess that's still the whole idea is that they're all just Eddies from different timelines, or so you don't know who kind of the true Eddie is. There's that Meridius at the end. It seems to be that's what every Eddie Brock turns into, and they're all kind of fighting it out. But the big turning point of this is, I guess, a new arc is that Carnage shows up. And I think he kills Meridius, and he's come I think Carnage has been having that death of the Venomverse, where he's been trying to go around killing all the different Venoms.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Carnage he's popping out. He's godlike now. And he's in there, and maybe these Eddies are gonna have to put their differences aside to try and take care of Carnage, because he seems pretty much powered up in there too. So I thought that was interesting, but this is a freaking run. I don't know what that term is. It's a long run for a short slide. Was that what they say sometimes?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just can't believe that Carnage and Venom have turned into these freaking godlike characters, or whatever. When they first started out, Spider-Man's kicking their ass, and now Spider-Man wouldn't even be able to freaking stand in the same room with these guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What would you give that out of 5?
That's a 3.5. I'm sure there's probably people that like what's going on in there, but freaking, I have no idea. Again, this is a very confusing week of comics. No bang. Well, I don't know. Maybe a few bangers at least. We've had a good run of some banger issues.
Yeah,
not this week.
Next up we got Ultimate Black Panther #1, which apparently has some sort of shipping issues from Random House. So you may have not been able to pick up this issue in Canada because I believe there's a lot of retailers that get our comics from Random House now as a result of the diamond switchovers, and so there was a major shortage, I think, of this issue for some people, and people were trying to buy this like gangbusters just based off the popularity, it seemed like, of the Spider-Man issue that came out that became a hot fucking issue. Yeah. And given the scarcity of availability for some folks, that may have also helped this in terms of, I don't know if this is I don't think this is hitting aftermarket prices like Spider-Man did, but I will say that apparently this was selling out at a lot of places as well based off the popularity of the Spider-Man one. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't pick this up. I just read this online because I wasn't sure about this one. And, I got to say, this wasn't bad, but it just felt like any other current Black Panther comic coming out. There was very little things changed or tweaked, let's say, from an Ultimate Universe perspective for me to kind of be invested more so in this. Even the Spider-Man, yeah, I get it. There's not huge changes there either. I guess there is, in the sense that he's got kids and the Uncle Ben is alive, and just minor changes, things that are a little different, right, than what we normally would expect. And that's all you really need to do. But this felt very similar, I feel to current Black Panther comics and the movie and things like that. And again, it's a little bit different. There is some small differences. His father is still alive right now in this comic, and he seems to be married, but he's also the one that's kind of looking over Wakanda. But it just felt very much it wasn't bad if you like Black Panther and you like the Black Panther comics currently. This might be something worth checking out. The major thing that they kind of introduced right at the start of the issue is there's a group of mercenary type characters that are the Moon Knights. Basically the Moon Knight people, I guess, are trying to come in on Wakanda's soil here and maybe mine it and do that kind of shit. And they're kind of the enemy of the Wakandans in this comic. So like what you see here is like you kind of see a guy in a white suit that's like kind of, I guess, like like Moon Knight in this Ultimate Universe, and he's got like a bunch of people that got these like glowing orbs on their like, you know, on their tactical gear, and that's like, I guess, like the Moon Knight's kind of mercenaries type stuff. So like that's like a sworn enemy of like the Wakandans in this book. So that's kind of like the major thing that's a little different or represented a little bit differently in this Ultimate Universe. I would say that's kind of that, you know, in this issue that they kind of make note of. Otherwise, felt very much in line with like current Black Panther. So nothing too exciting there for me. I'm less interested in this, and I'm probably not going to read more, but it wasn't a bad issue. I won't say that. You know, it was okay, and I think the art was good. And yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, with the current Black Panther, whenever it comes to like it kind of seems to be more aping like the movie kind of stuff these days, and it's much more on the more political side of Wakanda, more so than it is on the, hey, I'm a superhero as well side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's where I kind of I'm not as invested in Black Panther lately, because it doesn't have as much of that stuff going on. In the past, like I think some of the best Black Panther stuff I've read balances that well, like with the politics of Wakanda as well as the superheroic type stuff, and he's been part of teams and stuff like this. Whereas now I feel like any Black Panther new series that's launched that I've kind of tried out a couple of issues of, it's more on the political side of things, and like him in Wakanda and doing this kind of stuff, and you know, that could be interesting too, but it's just not really what I'm looking for, I feel like, in a Black Panther book. So this kind of just felt like more of that. So I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm good on this. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if he shows up, we'll see. I mean, like, I'm really looking forward to the Ultimates book that kind of launches out as the Avengers title from the Ultimate Universe side of stuff. But this and the X-Men one, I wasn't too keen on anyways. So I'm going to just stick with the Spider-Man, I think, for now. We'll see what happens with that X-Men book. But I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 then, I would say. It wasn't bad. Shazam number 8. This was actually a nice surprise this week. This was a really good issue. I really liked this. This was a wrap up, I guess, of the storyline, I guess, that they started in the last issue. That was kind of like a two-parter with him with Black Adam and the fallout of all the craziness that's been happening with this book, and the bill collector kind of the paperwork dinosaurs that have been dealing with his family and all this kind of shit. And I just thought there was some really good, funny stuff in this issue, and also a nice resolution to like the storyline that had been going on, because his family, like as him, like outside of the Shazam body as a kid, they needed to buy a new home because they don't have room in their current home, and him and Black Adam just ended up fighting and destroying their home at the end of last issue. So when he finds out that, like, you know, this is the kind of position that he's now put him in, Black Adam gets pissed off and frustrated and flies off. And then later on, you find that he goes to try to help him talk to the gods, from a god to another god, as he shows up. It's like saying, like, listen, like, you got to do this guy a favor. And, you know, we fucked up his house. And he speaks to Zeus of all people, because of course he's got the power of Zeus as one of the people. And as you know, he had a falling out with all the gods, Shazam, previous to this, right? So there was a resolution there. Zeus actually gave them a new, bigger home, which is huge on the inside, small from the outside. One of those type of things, right? Where inside the home, it actually, he fixed their old home so they don't have to go buy a new one, and now it can fit the whole family and more on the inside. You know what I mean? Like a magical kind of like type of construct, right? And then this dinosaur thing. They ended up finally coming to terms with allowing this dinosaur handler with one with the top hat that's kind of been, you know, getting to know these people on Earth, and you know, helping the gods with their shit. And he kind of doesn't, like, he's like, you don't understand, like, all this paperwork, like, it's the way of our people. We have to do this. We have no choice. I hate my life with them. Like, you know, so he ends up like they fly up into space, and he brings one of his adopted sisters there, and she annoys the shit out of the dinosaurs. Meanwhile, he goes and deals with the house situation. And when he comes back, he's like, yeah, whatever you guys want, this guy can stay with you. We'll let him go. You don't have to worry about the fucking paperwork. Just get this annoying girl out of here. Like, the dinosaurs are just over the whole situation. And like, it's just, and there's like some funny moments where, like, they like released like a bunch of papers like all over the earth like that have like, have you seen this dinosaur debt collector or whatever, and it's a picture of the dinosaur that they've been looking for. I don't know, it's just so wacky and fun. And yeah, have you seen this auditor, and it's the picture of the dinosaur. So yeah, it actually really came together for me, whereas I wasn't really digging this series all too much. I thought it was okay, and this was a really nice surprise this week of comics, so it was a standout for me. I gave this a 4 out of 5, and yeah, it was nice to see that he stuck the landing. I feel like with this kind of story where there were so many different weird elements going on, I didn't know how he was going to kind of bring it together, but he did. I think he pulled it off, Mark Waid, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Yeah, 4 out of 5 this week. Next up, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Still reading this one digitally. This is still decent. It's still building. It's still kind of like a weird, creepy take on like a Richard Scarry type book, or like a, like a children's series of books. It seems like, with the artwork and the way that the characters all live together, these anthropomorphic animals. And in this issue, the actual killer, the Dexter of the story, let's say, that's afraid of also being sussed out amongst all these people, is now in pursuit of this new killer, this serial killer that's kind of amongst all the people of the town. He's trying to find out who this person is. So he starts investigating the butcher of the town, thinking like, oh yeah, that's a perfect front. Like she knows how to handle dead bodies and things like that, I'm sure. And it turns out she's allergic to lavender, which was like one of the clues of the killer, I guess, that happened previously. Anyways, he goes and he creeps on her and tries to visit her house and like watch her when she's there. And he sees some weird activity with her talking to somebody in the bedroom, even though her husband has died like years previous to this. And then he throws a brick through the window of her store, the butcher, and she goes to go check on it because the alarm goes off, and he sneaks into her house and he looks in a closet and he finds that there's like a fake body and different heads and stuff. And she, like, I guess, has somebody sleeping in the bed next to her that's, I guess, a sit-in for her dead husband that's no longer there. So like she just uses it as you found out, like a source of comfort by the end of this, but it's still kind of creepy. Like she's got like a whole, like fake person in the bed next to her, and she confronts him and finds him sneaking around in her house and pulls out a gun on him. And she's like, I'm not the killer, but I don't know why you're fucking sneaking around my house and everything else. So by the end of it, they go to attend the funeral of the person that died last issue, and there's some lavender nearby, and this mouse that's sitting in the crowd starts fucking sneezing and having like an allergic reaction. And he looks over at him and he's just like, it's this fucking guy, isn't it? That's the killer. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but the plot thickens. I give this a 3.75 out of 5. It's a good story. It's building, and I think it's a lot of fun and might be worth revisiting in trade. Next up, we got Captain America #6, Chris.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. I've been reading this one online. There's a lot of elements in this story that I do like. I like the kind of little flashback stuff that's going on. I like the story sort of with Captain America living in his building there, and he's got his his new friend that's been helping him out, and he wants to, make him the new super of the building, and he has to turn him down because, he's been feeling that he's not been welcome in the neighborhood. But the main part of this story with him fighting this demon, I don't know about that. Like, there's some pretty good panels there. When Doctor Strange throws that Eye of Agamotto on the shield, I thought that was freaking awesome.
That was awesome.
But I think that was a wasted moment. Like, they should have used that moment for something else and save that idea for something more epic than this here. Unless now, if they do it again, it can be a callback or something. But I feel that they wasted this moment on this comic,
Yeah, no, I like the joke too when he's like, "Oh, I don't know how I feel about this like symbol being over the
oh yeah, over the star."
Yeah, and he's like, "Have you looked at the back of a dollar bill?" And he's like, "All right, point taken." I liked that. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
look like this is just the beginning though too. Like there's more of this type of villainy to come. There's still more demon business going on, and I don't know. Captain America versus Demons isn't something I'm really too keen on.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And it's a shame because I think like you said, all the other parts of the book are working for me, but I'm kind of over people fighting demons. And honestly, like I don't even know. I don't even feel like this story should have more legs than it has already within these first 6 issues of this arc. I
Yeah.
think that should be enough of this storyline, but it seems to be like an ongoing threat, like you said, in the present day, which I guess is in relation somehow to what happened in the past as well. But other than that, I think everything's really good in this book. I do really like it. It's just that is not what keeps me coming back though, is that story
Yeah.
and it's not like you said, it's not all the present day stuff, because I think that stuff at the end was interesting where like you said, that dude got kind of run out of town because of I guess racists or something that are in the town or whatever. And
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff going on in this. Just yeah, that demon shit. I'm not down with that either. All too much. And maybe if it wasn't like happening in like 3 other fucking books from Marvel right now, I wouldn't care as much. But it just feels like and yeah, apparently the artist, I forgot which one it is. What's his name? Oh no, he's not even on this issue. But the other artist that they had doing this series is the guy who did the Punisher stuff with Jason Aaron last time.
Yeah.
And again, they're dealing with demon shit in that too. I don't know if he's like the demon artist, apparently. Like, yeah, call that guy up. So, anyways, good stuff though. Otherwise, but yeah, I am with you. I don't like that part of it at all. Muddies the waters a little bit, unfortunately,
Yeah.
making this a good book it stops it from being a great book. Honestly, I think that shit. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75. Like, I just pushing it 3.5 because of that. Because like the demon stuff is like
Yeah,
the main sort of gist of this book.
yeah. No, I agree. I'll also give it 3.75, but almost verging to lower because of that. But there's still a lot of good stuff, I think. Here.
Yeah, but there is like good stuff in there.
I think this is my last issue I've pre-ordered though. Because of that, I'm dropping it. I'll probably still read it digitally, and I might even pick this up in a trade. Honestly, I think there's some good stuff in here for sure. It's just it sucks when you're not loving everything in the title though, right? You want it to all gel like really well. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Sensational She-Hulk #5, Chris. I read this too, actually. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think they threw this in my box or my pull list. I don't think I really ordered it, but I still don't mind a She-Hulk story. And this one here, I think there's the fallout of the girls' night out where the demon shows up, and they're fighting it out. There's some fun banter between them, and I think really at the end of this is that Carol has been trying to get a hold of She-Hulk because she wants She-Hulk to join the Avengers, and she puts the offer out there. And Patsy or Hellcat sort of stuck in the middle, kind of say, "Hey, what about me?" Like how come you're not or she feels used by Captain Marvel to get to She-Hulk, because I guess Captain Marvel's trying to call She-Hulk, and
Yeah.
she's been busy doing her own things. And then there's some stuff there, I guess, with the son of Satan or the something like that Patsy Walker has sort of a history with.
Yeah.
And just a lot of fun kind of dialogue, why they kind of went to her favorite bar and had them destroyed and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, the story here was that that She-Hulk has been offered a membership back into the Avengers, or asked to go in, and she's sort of still on the fence about it. And the reasons why, it's like, oh, we need you because you're our conscience and all that, the blah 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 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll tell you why She-Hulk is so great. So that was okay, but once again, it's nothing earth shattering or groundbreaking, but it's still a fun story to read, which is basically the milieu of this She-Hulk series.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got nothing else to add. I thought it was a decent issue, and I do like the yeah, this book's always like a palate cleanser for me. It's different. I think it's different than everything else I kind of read. I feel like the what they're putting out there with this one, like, you know what I mean? Like yeah, I do like it. It is enjoyable every time, but yeah, it is just a much different book, I think, than, which is a good thing. I think that a lot of superhero books on the stands, honestly. So yeah, it's a good book. What'd you give this out of 5?
I guess I have to give it a 3.75. I can't give it 3.5, which I probably would, but
I'll give it 3.5. Yeah. There's just not enough happen. And
yeah,
that's kind of the case though. I feel like in every issue in this series, like there's not a lot that happens like issue to issue, but it is good though. It's always enjoyable. It's just yeah, I don't know. For this one, I felt in particular. I did like the Damon Hellstrom stuff. I did like that stuff with her, him and Patsy. I did really
yeah,
like this issue. We'll see what happens with her in the Avengers. I doubt she's gonna join though, but
yeah, I don't think so either.
next up we got Thanos number 3. I think 3 of 4. I think the next issue is the last issue. You jumped on for this or
Yeah, I think I read this one, and this, if I remember correctly, I think they sort of they reveal how, I guess, Lady Death or Mistress Death, whatever they want to call her here, ended up in the way that
yeah.
she was, and the Illuminati were, I guess, a big part of how that happened.
Yeah.
And I think she has a throwdown there with Thanos and freaking just tells that guy, "Hey, buddy, out, we're done, whatever." Like, I don't know. I know that Thanos' big storyline, throughout the years, it was always been him, killing everybody to try and impress, Death and all this, and he was trying to bring her back. And I guess by kind of getting her to remember, it goes against everything why she became or why she wanted to experience, I
Yeah.
guess, life as a mortal. So she flips out on him because of that. So I thought that was kind of a fun, an interesting twist to the story, or an interesting, storyline to follow. But whether or not this needs to be a mini series, I don't know about that.
Yeah, this is a weird fucking book. Everyone's really out of character. I feel like in this, like the whole scene at the start where she's in the body of the person that she basically took her life over on Earth, and then like you said, this is before they explain everything in the issue that actually has been going on this whole time. But it's just weird. They're sitting at like a Mexican restaurant, like, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I better get me a drink or whatever." And like Thanos yells at the waiter. Like, just like it's a weird fucking book. You got Emma Frost at the start. She's zipping around on a motorcycle. I'm just like, what is going on in this fucking book? This is a weird miniseries. Like you said, I don't know what the point. And like, the Illuminati really hasn't been like touched on, I feel like, in a while.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't seem to be very Illuminati-ish, like
I mean,
they
I
seem
love
like a bunch of jokers.
Yeah, I love the Illuminati though. Like as a concept, at all like their heyday shit that they did with the Hickman stuff and the Bendis era of the Avengers. I love all that stuff. So I'm a huge Illuminati fan. But like, yeah, I don't know, just like why it had to be them of all people in this book that have like the ones that were tasked with doing this. And I get it. They kind of look out for the interests of themselves and the and Earth. So they said, "Hey, listen, you do this for us, and like, what are you gonna do for us, the Lady Death? Because that's a big ask, that's a big favor." But again, I don't know why she would have to go to them to ask for this favor.
Yeah.
Like, it's very strange. And I think casing has been the big issue with this book. Like I told you, I pre-ordered the first 2 issues. I didn't buy this one because I jumped ship after the first one because it was not clear whatsoever was happening in the first issue. And we're just getting the reveal, and there's only one more issue to go. So I don't know. It's been really disjointed, this mini series. Like there's been some fun stuff in it, but I don't think I'll be picking up the trade. Let's just say that I jumped ship and I'm okay with that, but I'll finish out the series because I've read up to this point. There's only one left, but weird fucking series though. Yeah. I don't, there's, but yeah, essentially, like you said, Thanos is just possessive and he's speaking for Death by the end of this, saying like, "No, this isn't what she wants." And she's like, "No, like this is what I wanted. How dare you fucking get to get in my way?" And yeah, now they're all fucked because it's like she's pissed off Death, right? So yeah. So anyways, what'd you give this?
Yeah, I give it a 3.5.
Same. Yeah. Next up we got Dark Spaces Dungeon number 3. I don't know how long this is. I think this is a mini series. Maybe it's 5 or 6 issues. I'm not sure. I've really enjoyed this. I think this is, I don't feel like a book that's maybe gone under a lot of people's radar. That's something you should be checking out, especially if you like the Scott Snyder of old, who was like the horror writer coming into comics. And then somewhere along the way, he stopped doing horror books and he started doing more like, obviously he was the big 2 DC guy. He was their contract writer writing the Batman title for a long ass time. So I feel like he stopped doing things like this, but this is a really good horror story, honestly. And this guy's kid just got abducted last issue by the guy that sticks the kids in the dungeons. And this issue is essentially the cop who escaped. He's the only one that literally escaped the dungeon from when he was younger, that's been helping this guy, is trying to first console him based off the fact that his kid got taken. And then he goes and interrogates the guy in the hospital, the guy they found in one of the dungeons. They were able to uncover one of the dungeons last issue, and it kind of gave him clues to maybe where to look next. And the guy, when he goes and talks to him, who's all fucked up from being in the dungeon for so long, he kind of alludes to the fact, like, you're his favorite, right? He still talks about you. And he, like, even though you've escaped, you think he stopped watching you. This guy still watches you. And this guy's telling him all these things that he just uncovered from one of these dungeons. And it kind of fucks with his head. And he goes off the deep end in this. And then he gets let go from the FBI or whatever the hell he works for. They're just like, yeah, like, you're too close to this. We shouldn't have had you work in this case. I'm sorry. You should take a break. Like, we're giving you some time off. And then the guy, of course, always like a trope in these type of things where they get let go, he goes rogue, and he gets together with the guy he was helping, the father, saying that he filed for kind of a complaint against them, saying, like, I don't believe you took this guy off this case. He's the only way I'm going to find my son. He's the only guy that knows all this shit about this guy. You need to keep him on. And they don't listen to him. And basically then they go on and start investigating shit for themselves. They come across some old spot, like, that's an abandoned jail or something like that. Or I guess for like youth, or like for young people, or like maybe it was like an asylum. I don't know what the hell it was, but they go and find this spot where they were led to through clues. And this guy that like watches the grounds of this abandoned place tells them a story about how some kid that used to be in prison there had learned all this shit from somebody else who was in prison there about torturing people and doing this kind of stuff. And apparently there was some kid that used to beat the shit out of him when he was there, when they found out years later after he disappeared that he encased him inside of a fucking wall. So it looks like they found the place of the origin of this person that kind of does this whole dungeon shit here at the end of this issue. And then it teased it at the end of the issue that it looks like the kid woke up that got kidnapped the last issue, and he's just in one of these torture dungeons now. So it like looks like he's fucked. Like, who knows what the hell's gonna happen to him. See Buddy kind of going for him at the end here. Yeah, I like this series a lot. I give this a 4 out of 5. It gives you just enough every issue to kind of like keep you going, keep the tension up. And it's a very creepy, fucking unsettling story that he's doing. I think Scott Snyder is a really good one. Next up, we got Doctor Strange number 12. This is a little disappointing, honestly. The next issue is that Defender storyline, though, Chris, which I'm really looking forward to. But this was just like a one and done in between arcs. It looked like before that Defender stories comes out, that they did like a one shot story about his dog, the ghost dog here, and bats. And he was an awesome character. I just think this should have been a lot better as a one shot. It wasn't all so much. All this kind of proved was that, you know, he helps out. He looks after things at the place when he's not around. And Doctor Strange has been involved in a lot of shit that's been keeping him occupied and busy lately. And then by the end of this issue, that thing that they set up in that annual, you know, that Crypt of Shadows book that you told me to read, Chris, that you read? Yeah, you know, like the horror host guy was like his evil brother that was like behind a mirror or something like that. He pops up in this, and he escapes that mirror and traps the ghost dog in there, and it looks like he's on the loose now. So that's kind of like the twist that happened at the end of this issue, just to kind of put that into play. I don't know if he's gonna have anything to do with the next arc, or if they're just gonna fucking put that out there and then revisit it somewhere down the line after this new Defenders arc. But that's basically the whole point of this issue. And I think it was just more of a setup of that than anything, than it was like having a fun issue with the point of view of this character, which is the dog. So I think that was kind of a wasted opportunity. And I guess we'll see what happens with this. But I'm very much looking forward to the next arc. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. You know, in this continuing in this midweek of comics in terms of some of our ratings here, but 3.5 is not bad. I mean, if you think of it, a rating out of 10, guys, that's a 7 out of 10, which is a good rating. It's just like, it's not exciting me all so much, right? Some of these issues are just kind of in between arcs and this kind of stuff, right? And then speaking of that, you got KF15, which again hasn't really added anything new to this current story arc, but was another enjoyable issue. I don't have the art for this one, but again, I'll give this also a 3.5 out of 5. I don't really have too much to add about this series, other than the thing I've been saying this whole time. I hope some people are checking this series out because it's a good, really fun fantasy series by a good creator. It's a good creator-owned title by a good artist who's writing and drawing his first book. So I think it's really, really good. But this was like, again, like a slow issue, and it's in between an arc right now. It's kind of in the middle of a story right now. So I'll just give it a 3.5 out of 5 and call it a day. Next up, Chris, Fantastic Four number 17.
Got these Alex Ross covers. They're always freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And that's a good cover there. It's when I saw this cover and, I read the solicitation about it, I think you have Susan Storm finds basically her body in some archaeological dig. And, they realize that these bones are like, millions of years old or something. So there's a bit of a mystery there. And then they, when they analyze the bones or some of the material that was around there, they realize that the material is made of unstable molecules, which of course are the Fantastic Four costumes. So then, then she calls the whatever, Ben and Johnny and Mr. Fantastic there to the scene to find out what's going on and to reveal what happened. And like in this time of arcs and all that, this is just self-contained story. The last Fantastic Four before was a self-contained story in one issue, and I think that's kind of hitting a pretty good spot right now. They got a good niche in there where not everything has to be a 6-7 issue arc to find out what's going on, and the story was decent. I think you're ending up with Kang, or is that Ramatut, which is Kang, one of the Kang whatever variants, or I don't know what they were. But what happens is in the future, Susan Storm takes Reed on a vacation through time, and to where I guess the man first makes its way to North America, to southern North America, Arizona to be specific. So I guess you learn stuff here out of hand. And then while they're there, Kang shows up, and I think he kills them. So there's a lot of sort of time travel shenanigans going on, because Kang is still, or Ramatut, he's all upset about running into them again, because this story is supposed to take place basically after the first time Ramatut showed up, I guess back in the 60s. And then they reveal how they do it. I guess there's something going on about Susan Storm and Reed communicating through
Braille. Yeah.
Braille. And that was like an interesting, I don't know if it's an interesting twist, but it was a decent twist of the story. So that way, because the Ramatut was saying, hey, you can't fight me. I travel through time. I can see you all the time. I know what you're up to. So they were able to find a way to communicate to each other to try and screw them over, which they ended up doing by sending in some sort of clone type people. And that's why her body was there. So everything's resolved at the end. So I thought it was a decent issue.
I liked it too. Yeah. I think it was a good issue of Fantastic Four. And I agree with you. I like the fact that they're doing like the more one and done approach to these stories, these science adventures that they keep having in this title. And
until they come up with a good arc for them, if they're saving that up, that's fine. But I'm happy with these one and done stories. They're decent.
Yeah. What would you give this out of 5?
I'll give it a 4.
Dave. Yeah. And then lastly, we got X-Men 31 this week.
Yeah, I think I missed my issue. I had to find out, I guess, on Wednesday, maybe see what happened. Maybe it came late. But this was another issue I was looking forward to. And I don't know, I think this one fell flat as well. This stuff with Cinch, or is it Cinch, or whatever his name is? Sink?
Think, yeah. I think.
And I guess it's that old, I don't know what they call her now, Talent, I guess. I feel it should have been more dramatic, or there should have been more sort of a heart punch to it, but it just wasn't there.
Can I also add, before you go on, and I'm not one normally to like say this, but what's Spider-Man doing in this issue? I'm sorry. I mean, listen, I'm not one to like be like, put him in everything. I don't fucking care. I like Spider-Man, but like,
Yeah.
there's really, I feel like no reason for him to be in this. Like, did I miss something, or like, why was he here?
I think there's another issue there where he's even just kind of talking with him. He goes, "Okay, if you need me, I'm going to swing out of here."
Yeah, but that's why. Then why is he back here again? I guess
they don't need him for this. Like, whether and the stuff with Nimrod, like, how is Nimrod so powerful in freaking the Hellfire Gala?
Right.
And then he comes here and freaking he's like, he seems weak all of a sudden,
Oh no, I agree with you. Oh, they make him kind of a joke. The fact that Spider-Man drove a truck into him. like, I thought that was funny, but I'm like, Nimrod's gonna kill Spider-Man. What is he doing there? And then he just drives a fucking truck into him, and he's like making jokes. Maybe actually it was good that he was there. It was one of the only things I think I liked about this issue, but I just didn't understand why he was there.
Yeah, like, there's no reason Spider-Man needs to be involved in this story at all, but there he is.
Go on. Yeah, no, I just had to say that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Truck though. That's so stupid.
I guess they had a plan to take out Nimrod, so that was decent, but I don't know. Once again, it didn't live up to the hype for me. I've been loving this whole this Fall of X, and even here too when what's her name shows up. Typhoid Mary shows back up with the Kingpin. She comes back nuttier than a freaking nut bar.
She is,
and he's like, I don't care how nutty you are. Like, she wasn't this nutty at the end of Devil's Reign. Like, they seem to be on the same page, and it's like, okay, we're out, but I don't know.
She's always been like that, though.
I know that's her idea, that she's supposed to have all these multiple personalities, and she's nutty.
That doesn't, I don't have a problem with that so much, because like that kind of rings true to, like, it was almost like she was just on her mess.
Yeah, there's no way Kingpin would put up with that nuttiness. He'd not that well. Yeah, he wouldn't put up with that for sure. But anyway, so I guess the story moves on, and I guess they have that bio bomb from the High Evolutionary to stop all the from the medicines of killing people working, I guess, anymore.
I just hope that he still has some fun things to do here in this series, or unless he's given it all over to his other series, the Fall of X one.
That's
right?
what I'm worried about. It's all the good stuff's going to happen in Fall of X and the Rise of X, and it's leaving nothing here for the X-Men series, where at one point X-Men was the one that was driving this whole story.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. I do think that he's always told different types of stories than a regular X-Men book in this title, which I think is actually the strength of his X-Men book, I will say, and maybe why some people haven't been liking the X-Men title, like the main title. But I agree with you. I hope because Duggan is also writing that Fall of X, he really has maybe left nothing for himself on the table here. And he's just like, oh yeah, just put Spider-Man here. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, he's always done fun things in this series, right? Like, even a couple of issues ago, we had that whole fucking Doom storyline, right? That for an issue or two, which was fun. But so, like, I'm not opposed if he still has some good stuff to tell. Like, I just don't think this is going to be as important, obviously, as what's happening in his any more than what's happening in his Fall of X series, right? And hopefully he's left something for this series. I agree with you. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. This was not a great issue though, and I think that we've both been very vocal about how much we like this series on this show, but this one was just like, yeah, not great. I felt like it comparing it to itself, right? Like, it's on this week of comics, it was okay because it wasn't that great of a week of comics, but it just not strong though. It's not the strongest issue, that's for sure. What'd you give this?
I give it a 3.5.
Yeah, same. For the Spider-Man part, I give it a 3.5. Him driving the truck into Nimrod for no reason, thinking that he was going to make a difference.
Well, they've thrown everything at him before. What's going to stop Nimrod is a truck. You put the juggernaut against him. No, that wasn't good enough. This truck, oh yeah.
You know what? I take it back. Now I do like that. He said it.
That's my plan.
That's clearly why you put him in the story, right? They're like, I don't know. Maybe
I can punch you harder than this freaking truck. But I could have thrown the truck at you.
I just like how he doesn't even move, and then he's like, oh god, like he's choking him. Like, Nimrod's just standing there and just like, yeah, whatever, but
yeah.
Oh god. Anyways, I probably laughed way too much of that I should have. It's been a long weekend.
All right. It's a long week. It's only Monday.
Yeah, long weekend that's why I said week and then I'm like end.
Yeah.
What'd you what'd you give that, Chris? Rate it again. No.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. What are you looking
3.55? How's that?
What are you looking forward to checking out this next week, Chris?
Okay, I gotta pull this up here. But we'll see what's happening. I think there's some big things coming up this next week. I'm surprised there's not so many of these Valentine's Day specials, but seeing how it falls on there. But out of Marvel, yeah, the fall of the House of X2 definitely. Probably Reed Superior Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 43. Definitely looking forward to that. And looking forward to Wolverine 43 and hope the bloodshed continues. I've been liking that so far. And let's see what's going on the DC side of things. Action Comics, I'm hoping I'm getting that. I'm not sure if I had that on my pull list, but definitely. And there's Batman 143. And yeah, not much else going on. Well, it looks like it might be a small week again. And I'm not sure if there's anything going on in Image Ways.
Yeah. I got a okay sized, at least by our new standards. Do you see anything for Image? No.
Yeah, nothing really. There's might be a couple I might read, but nothing big.
Yeah, I've like
I guess Deviant, but I kind of fell off that.
Which one?
Deviant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean I got about 7 ones I'm picking up next week, like physical issues. So like that's kind of in our new sweet spot of like having like 6 to 8, which I really like. So Action Comics 1062, like you said, we're continuing that Bizarro storyline that Jason Aaron set up last issue. That was a lot of fun. Batman 143. We'll see if Zdarsky can kind of right the ship after this first issue, if this is a weekly one. Amazing Spider-Man 43. They got a Creep Show one-shot. Now that the series is done, they're doing a one-shot with Michael Walsh on art, who was the artist that did and writer that did Silver Coin, which was a big fan of. So I'm looking forward to that. Deviant 4, like you said, that's been really good. Fall of the House of X, really looking forward to that. And Transformers number 5, really looking forward to that. That's it. Yeah. And just looking at what else we have coming out. If I'm reading anything digitally, DC, I think I'm done with Outsiders. Wesley Dodds, The Sandman number 5. I'll read that. That comes out next week. Then we got, that's from DC. Looking at Marvel Image. If there's anything else here. Like I said, Creepshow, Deviant, and Transformers. Big Image week, I guess, for me next week. Then that being said, Scorch comes out next week. Are you reading that?
I think I might have that, but I might be dropping all that stuff too. I think I'm reading about like Spawn 350 comes out in the near future.
Yeah.
I might have a few issues after that, and I might just read that stuff digitally.
I'm just looking at Marvel now, finally, just to see if there's anything here. Ooh, Night Thrasher number 1. No. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver number 1. I might read that online. That's a 1 out of a 4-issue miniseries. I might check that out. I just finished volume 2 of the main ongoing series that we talked about on the show and that we dropped. It's pretty good. I actually revisited it and I liked it quite a bit. I think that's it though. I don't think I'm reading Superior Spider. Thunderbolts 3. I'm gonna read that. That's been good. And Vengeance of the Moon Knight, maybe number 2. I really like the first, and Wolverine 43, of course. Yeah. So yeah, a few other good ones here going. So yeah, cool. All right,
Well, I did
Chris.
want to talk about one thing. I did. I know in the Instagram thing I showed you had Civil War 4, I think, with
Yeah.
by Mark Miller. I that was that back issue. So I did read the Civil War 1 to 7. I think it's the first time reading that whole thing through, and that wasn't too bad. With it was Mark Miller writing that. There's some good scenes in there, like the Punisher scene there where he kills the two bad guys that want to sort of join the team when they're trying to put the sides together.
Mhm.
Because I guess Tony Stark's side, he pulled in some of the villains to help join the fight.
Yeah.
Then, Captain America's there, they're in the hideout, and two of the villains kind of, hey, we don't like what's going on here. And then Punisher just shoots them straight out, bang, bang. Goes, oh, they're villains. What are you talking about? And then, of course, that led to the breakdown between Punisher and Captain America. Oh, I can't believe I trusted you. But yeah, there's some good scenes there where Punisher saves Spider-Man when he was getting beaten up in there. A lot of good stuff going on in that Civil War.
Yeah, I think it's a good concept, but I feel like all in all, by the end of it, I didn't love the execution of some of it. Overall, I don't think it's my favorite event, but I do like some of the stuff that they did with the Civil War stuff. And it's funny you say that because I've recently been reading the Straczynski Spider-Man omnibus, like the big hardcover, volume 2. And I'm actually right now, like literally before we came on the show, I was reading it. I'm at the issues of the Civil War stuff with Spider-Man, which is a lot of the stuff that you see that happens between him and Tony Stark in Civil War and the Spider-Man.
Outside of the main, so that's what I was going to ask you. Like when this was going on,
that stuff's
with
really
the others, yeah, because I imagine the stuff there with Mary Jane and Aunt May and all that sort of stuff. How this is affecting them when he decides to reveal his identity and things like that.
For me, that's the best part of the Civil War stuff is the Spider-Man side of it. Because you know how like some of the tie-in stuff's not so good sometimes. That's really good. Yeah. If you like this, it might be worth checking out the issues of Amazing Spider-Man that cover Civil War, Chris. Maybe I'll send you the numbers of the issues that cover the storyline because it's really fucking good. And they pulled a lot of the stuff that are in the movies from this story that's in the Spider-Man side of stuff. And it's just interesting because Tony, May, and Mary Jane are living at the Avengers Mansion at this time in the book because their house got destroyed because of something that happened in Peter's life. And they both know that he's Spider-Man at this point in time, like May and Mary Jane. Like everyone knows that he's Spider-Man. And then he ends up on Tony Stark's side of this whole fucking Civil War thing, right? Because of the allegiance to him or having helped him out and doing so many things. And then he makes him the Iron Spider suit. So it's all really fucking sick stuff. And it's something that doesn't seem like Spider-Man would ever sign up for. So he's kind of caught in between all of this shit in the event. So like, that's actually really good stuff. The Spider-Man issues and so I will say that that's all really, really interesting stuff. So yeah, it's definitely worth revisiting or checking out for the first time for anybody that hasn't. Actually, and you just reminded me because you mentioned Punisher. Let's quickly talk about this. The solicits aren't out yet, guys, for May. But they always kind of leak a couple of things prior to the solicits coming out of things coming up. And they just announced that Garth Ennis is returning in May with something I'm really excited for a new Punisher Max storyline of him back in like the 70s, I guess, and during one of the wars. Punisher, Frank Castle Punisher, because he's kind of written the Frank Castle in the war stories, Garth Ennis, in a lot of his Punisher Max stuff. He is going to be tracking down Fury. Apparently he has to get to Nick Fury and take him out, apparently, because he's, I guess, fallen on the wrong side of things during this war or something, and they've tasked him to go in there and take out Nick Fury. So I'm really fucking excited at that, because the Punisher Max stuff is always like rated R, like kind of like, you know what I mean, like material, like it's like, swearing and everything and hyper violence and stuff like that. And Garth Ennis writes a fucking really good Punisher, whether it's the Frank in the War or otherwise. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's a 5-issue mini series coming out in May. And for anybody that's been missing out on the old Punisher, this is something to check out, this Punisher Max series, honestly, because he writes a great Punisher, even with his war time. It's really good. And another thing they also talked about, Chris, I sent you as well. They're doing Hickman is doing a Doctor Doom one shot in May, which sounds really interesting too.
That sounds crazy too.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't read it was a one shot at first, and then after I read it again, the solicit, I was like, oh, it's only a one shot. So I hope that turns into something else, because that sounds really fucking good. What he's got going in that one shot. So I'm really looking forward to that. So a couple of things to look forward to, guys. All right, Chris. Our favorite book of the week, though, on this week. It's not a strong week. It's going to be hard for me to pick, honestly.
Yeah. This week was up for grabs for, all the main titles seem to drop the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going with Fantastic Four.
Good pick. Yeah. That's a
good pick. The cover, the solicitation got the hype in there, and they did a good job of executing it.
You know what? I'm going to go with the fucking unexpected pick. I've never given this a pick, and it's something I didn't actually pick up physically. I would say it's between Dark Spaces Dungeon #3, which I've really been enjoying, and this book, which I think I'm going to give it to ultimately, and that's fucking Shazam 8. I don't know, man. It was just a nice.
I might have to give that a read if you liked it that much.
I think so, Chris. I mean, like, again, this wasn't the strongest of weeks, but I think he did a really good job of wrapping up a lot of the craziness that was been going on in this storyline of this title. I think he stuck the landing and did a fucking really good job in this issue of addressing everything and in a fun, interesting way too. Like it was like a breath of fresh air amongst this week of like ho-hum, like middle of the road type issues. I just really had a lot of fun reading it, and I thought it was a well done execution of this end of the story arc, right? So yeah, I will say it might be something I pick up the trade of. I've been kind of all over the place with this series, but I think it's more good than not, this Shazam series. I'm just like I'm not a huge even Captain Marvel fan in that regard, right? But I have read a bunch of stuff of his stuff in the past, and this can stand amongst some of that stuff I've read. I think it's been some good stuff. So all right.
One other thing I want to talk about too of stuff that's sort of in the news is in that, what's that, Kneel Before Zod? Supposedly something big is happening in there, but I don't know if that's just hype. Like, I've been reading some stuff there online about what's going to happen in there. I don't know if what was the girl there from? Is it Ursa? She might be getting a freaking power up, or she might be trying to kind of take over Zod, but
okay,
or killing him even. Like, they're talking about something big happening there.
So what, they've been teasing something big that's happening in the news right now for this series?
Yeah, like in the next few issues or something. Okay. I think it might be coming out soon. Like, it's not part of the solicitation stuff. So
right.
I don't know. I just thought I'd put it out there. Like, but I'm not, I'm not buying that series or even reading. I think I might have read the first one and I thought it was kind of wacky.
Has it piqued your interest enough to check it out now, though, as a result of this news? Or maybe
we'll see. We'll see what it ends up being.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Like far-reaching implications in the Superman world. But
well, there you have it. If you guys have been reading Kneel Before Zod, let us know if it's been good, if it's worth checking out. But yeah, that'll be it for this week, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Chris. As always a lot of fun getting together to talk some comics, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Later.